Welcome back to the Arcopia Show. Today I've got a really fun topic that I really enjoy talking about and thinking about, and it's on simulation theory or the Matrix. Do we live in a simulated reality? Is all of this existence, I don't know, somebody put us here and we're in a video game? Sometimes I think that maybe that is possible, and sometimes I think no, it's much simpler than that, but it is, you know, video games are getting such good graphics and things you can hardly tell. Is this a computer animation, or is that a real person, or is this a real image in the video game, right? And also, does it really matter? It's like, what is existence as well? But I don't know. So many things don't make sense. You can see these glitches in the matrix. Um, like why do these things not make any sense? Why do things happen that shouldn't happen? Why does I don't know. Insert 10 million different examples, right? How does somebody get popular and rich? How are they chosen? How does somebody win the lottery or get lucky? Is that part of the matrix, or you're selected, or the right time and the right place in the matrix programming? Who knows? It's kind of also a dangerous topic. You know, in the matrix, the films, it's taking the proverbial red pill. You've probably heard a lot of, and that's taking a truth pill, and taking the blue pill is not wanting to know the truth and staying in Wonderland. Yeah, it's actually pretty dangerous if you give somebody a red pill and they take it in. Lots of times, if you try to give somebody a red pill, it will be rejected. It's like, nope, I don't want to hear that. Like, whether they know that they don't want to know the truth because life is gravy, or yeah, without knowing the truth, or whatever it is. But if you wake people up, sometimes that is so painful that they can't stand it, so they will reject it, right? It would mean so many things, or possibly their entire life is a lie. So they'd prefer to go about the rest of their days living in not knowing the truth, and because it's too painful to hear, the harsh truth sometimes. Sometimes I feel like Neo in the Matrix, in the first main movie, Neo knows something's wrong. He's always out there searching for something. He doesn't know what, but something is just not right. Something doesn't make sense in his reality. When he uh, kind of found out what that is, and he left the Matrix for the real world kind of sucked, right? The Matrix is pretty nice. It's clean, it's pretty easy, eat good food. And when you leave the Matrix, all of a sudden you're in your actual real body instead of the make believe body in the Matrix, right? The machines are essentially harvesting the energy off of humans, and they plug them into the Matrix, right? But Neo left the Matrix, and all of a sudden he's got his real body. They go in this old ship that looks cold all the time, underground, no natural light. Everybody's pale. They haven't seen the sun shining, and their food source looks like slop porridge, pretty gross. And the people in the real world, when Neo woke up, said, well, you kind of get used to the food. Like, it's not great, but it kind of has what you need to not die, and stuff. So the real world kind of sucked. And that's a good it ties it into why people will reject the red pill and want to stay in the Matrix. I don't want to know the real truth, right? This whatever world is it's great for a lot of people. So giving a red pill would destroy them. But in the real world, they're also being hunted, right? Because they're awake and out of the matrix, and they're being hunted by the controllers of the matrix. So the machines are always trying to hunt down and kill them. The last city in the real world, the last community, was called Zion, I believe. Was that kind of deep underground in the center of the earth, and it's looks a lot different than the world in the Matrix. That world in the Matrix looks like kind of modern day society. Now, one of the characters called Cypher was out of the Matrix, but he talked to the machines and he couldn't take the harshness and stuff outside of the Matrix, so he asked to be put back into the Matrix. And he asked to be somebody important. He doesn't want to remember anything. He wants to be retold and brainwashed with the lie and plug him back in. And he sold out he was a traitor for the people outside of the Matrix. Now you could just compare this to urban versus rural. So in a big city, there's lots of flashing lights that look really cool, and you can get all sorts of deep fried goodies and sweet treats. And there's entertainment and all sorts of different people, and who wouldn't want to live there, right? But you move out of town and it's just kind of bare land. It's in the open. It's windier. It's colder. You, if you're going to homestead or live more off grid or keep to yourself, like leave the matrix of the city, like it's not all that great. Like in the city, there's underground parking, and oh geez, it snowed outside, so let's call this person to shovel, or it's just gonna get shoveled by the system, and then let's order some pizza or something, and I don't have to get out of my pajamas or do anything or provide anything. This is wonderful. This matrix is wonderful in the city. Why would anybody want to move out of town? And then, Cypher could have moved out of town on the farm, and he's like, the heck with this. It just snows, it's windy, it's cold, it's cutting firewood sucks. I'm going to move back into a condo in the city, and I want to forget about the farm, right? So you could compare it to just city and urban. Now, in the Matrix, you essentially have NPCs. So an NPC is a non-player character. That's what that stands for. So in a video game, if you're playing a video game or whatever game it is, I don't play video games, but Grand Theft Auto or something, you're the character. Every other human character in that game is a non-player character, so it doesn't have a conscious player like yourself behind. They're all computer simulations, right? But you can go, hit somebody or steal somebody's car or interact with somebody at a shop, or do trade, and to advance in the game you have to deal with NPCs all the time. And that relates to, like, you hear lots of people will call other people an NPC, right? The majority of humans are kind of NPCs. So whether I believe that they're a non-player character or not, or my personal opinion is that it's not a simulation theory, like per se, like you're a crazy person would only think that, but no, this is actually kind of reality. But they're not NPCs, they're just like lower frequency, less conscious humans that haven't moved up in frequencies and consciousness, and they can't think for themselves. So anyways, in the Matrix we have a lot of NPCs type of thing. They don't know the truth and herd mentality, and do what they have to do, and are all like-minded and like the same things. And then a bunch of agent smiths, which are the policy enforcers for the Matrix. So they will hunt down somebody that has free thought. somebody that questions anything. And all of this that was in the film is very relatable to today. So a Agent Smith policy enforcer could be, government, or like the government policy enforcers are the police force, or just government, or Facebook or something, like fact checking. They're censoring certain things. They're canceling some humans online, right? No, you can't get a verified Twitter account. No, you can't post this. Like, way back, or not way back, but a few years ago, my buddy and I set up a Facebook group just for the two of us. We didn't include anybody else, but just for the two of us. And our goal was to like pick the best articles and memes, a place for us to store them together. And instead of messaging personal memes and then having to store them and organize them, we just figured we'd put a page together. But that page was somehow tied to my personal name, which was also tied to my business, or Copia. And Facebook didn't like some of the memes, and it's nothing bad. It's just pure, high quality, highly intelligent, but hilarious memes about everything that's wrong in this matrix that we live in. And Facebook like censored it and shut it down, but they didn't just shut down that little page that was like separate from everything. They shut down my personal one and affected my business page. So like trying to cancel. So I swear there's shadow banning that goes on. So whether that's the Facebook system, or the big companies, or the government, or the government's mandating the big companies to do that, or if this is some weird matrix and herd, it goes against herd mentality, so they like a pig and cancel um, anything that's not groupthink, just like out of 1984 Orwell. But when I started my business, I'd pay a tiny bit, for Facebook sponsored ads to try to get my name out there, and, sponsor it. Who's interested in healthy food and preparedness food, and health food, and who, smoothie pages and things. And ever since they literally shut down the business page for a completely separate page, but they tied me together with it, shut it down for a month. I had never gave Facebook another penny, and I never will again. Like, F them. So I don't do business or give any business to terrorists, essentially. um, but speaking about social media and all this stuff, everybody has their phone, and they have neck problems because all they do is look at their phone. And I'm no better. I'm glued to my phone all the time. I mean, I'm doing the YouTube thing and social media thing, and my business is online, and there's apps for everything for Amazon, and I have to manage everything through this little device supercomputer in my hand as well. And it's tough to unplug from it, because that is, you're living in the metaverse. So, but everybody's glued to it the whole time. It's actually, I've made this observation before, but the first world without any technology, go outside, go hiking on a path with no phone in your pocket, and look around. And that is now the second world. That is the artificial world that nobody lives in anymore. The first world is on your phone in the metaverse. Okay, so here's an example. There would be some super popular Instagram, good looking girl or something with a huge following, and you go to their Instagram page or whatever, and it's just, they look pristine and clean and well put together and stuff like that. Well, let's say they were a tenant, or okay, well, this actually happened. So they're a tenant, or apply to be a tenant. So, what's your name, and kind of ask for a reference or whatever. And check out their, you like Google them or whatever and check out their social media thing. Well, she looks clean and put together. Yeah, okay, you can rent this place. And then they move in, and that girl that seemingly looks clean and well put together on the Instagram is the most disgusting human in real life. It's just like week old pizza slices molding on the floor and just dirty, disgusting clothes everywhere, never cleans. Like the bathroom is just disgusting, just gross in the real world. But everything is for like find a clean little corner in the place that they're renting to shoot a YouTube or a Instagram little thing for the real world, which is Instagram and social media. That's the real world now. So it's like a matrix within a matrix, right? So I was talking about the actual like real life is also a simulation. Like the air we breathe, you think that's real? Morpheus told Neo, interesting. That's interesting you think that. And oh, you think gravity's real? You know, it's expand your mind, Neo. Um, Instagram and all these in your phone is like a matrix within a matrix, and then there's probably other matrices you can go down, right? Or people that literally live, maybe if they have a job, all the job is to like they go to work, don't talk to anybody, their heads down, they flip burgers or whatever, and then as soon as they get home, it's go into the gaming chair and log in and play your video games, right? And you're the best at this video game because that's your real world. That's all you think about as well. That's your community too. It's craziness. But instead of for me trying to explain things, instead of calling the average person an NPC, a non-player character, I'm just going to call them a normie. So, a normie. Let's talk about I don't know, in high school, for instance. In high school, if you wanted to be cool and part of the cool kids, or to fit in, you had to listen to the exact same music that everyone else said was cool. You had to wear the same clothes that everyone else thought was cool. You had to play the same game, whether that's football at your particular school or basketball at your particular school. You had to do that if you wanted to fit in, right? If you liked a different type of music or a different article of clothing or played a different sports ball game than what was considered cool by the normies with the herd mentality that can't think for themselves, then you are not cool. So you're kind of a outsider, and an outsider means having the ability to think for yourself, which is actually quite rare. So a lot of people will, if you ask somebody an important question or a controversial question, they will regurgitate what the herd told them. Before they answer, actually, they will actually ask the hive or the herd or their peers what the answer is, and then that's what they will regurgitate as the answer because they don't have a free thought in their head because they want to fit in to the matrix. So some people call them the sheeple, the followers. If you want to be successful in the matrix, which is in society, in the hive with the sheep, if you want a large sheep following, you don't even want to be, maybe not a shepherd, but you want to be like the trend setting sheep kind of thing. It's like a step below the shepherd, or the right hand sheep to the shepherds. But you don't want to be, a goat in a world of sheep. That's not going to get you anywhere. So both financially, in business, in following, in your popularity, or anything like that. And the most best way to show that in the last few years is the vaccine mandate, right? Get vaccinated, stay home, stay safe, wear your mask. And if you went against that or had a different thought in your head and questioned anything, the sheeple, the herd would turn against you, right? And now that it's essentially coming out that, you know, the conspiracy theorists don't seem to be having, myocarditis or heart problems or complications. the, the conspiracy theorists, right? Just the people conscious enough that they can have the odd free thought in their head to think about, wait a minute, right? This isn't a vaccine, like a traditional one. This isn't tested. Hmm. The the nincompoops that are running things are telling you to get thing. People that aren't doctors are mandating things. Interesting. You know, but the majority of people took the vaccine. The majority of people today still, right? The lie is too painful that they will still go along with it and go along with the herd. They're even going to take their kids and infants in to get multiple vaccines, right? And there's no risk of COVID with the infants, and there never was any risk of death, right? But still, let's give them this thing, and then you have some literally children dying and things, and people still will go along and do that. But there's experiments with this as well. It would be a camera in a waiting room, and everybody would be a paid actor except for one person in this waiting room. And every time a bell would ring with the door, everybody in that room would just stand up for 10 seconds and then sit down. And most people that were part of that experiment, the in there, eventually would start standing up with the herd and sitting down for no reason other than the bell would ring and they would stand up. And then another example is when the herd, everybody just goes along with the herd and doesn't want to stand out. And if one person stands up and speaks something that contradicts something else, that gives some of the sheeple the courage that, you know what, that sounds right too. And you can all of a sudden turn the sheep to your way. It's all very interesting, the human psychology and these things. People that can't think for themselves to any level or a very high level, but it comes down to just different levels of consciousness. So these, instead of calling them NPCs or normies, you can call them, unconscious or very low level of consciousness. Because they can't think for themselves, and unfortunately, most people are not conscious, barely at all. That's why I like comparing cycles in nature and things with animals to humans. I don't want to call humans animals. We are above animals, right? But there's most humans are pretty close to animals or have a lot of things. They don't feel like they're a shepherd or a manager to make everything around them better, and you know what I mean. But another example I could get into would be religion for this. So I tend to question everything all the time. That's just who I am. So that gives me kind of a more well-rounded belief system than just a singular one. Now, I do believe that there's higher powers, and you could call it God, and I do believe natural law. But I like learning about all these other different cultures. So like Christianity is great. The Bible might be the best book ever written. There's very, very good lessons in there. But the Christianity, some say, came from lots of it older type religions. Like Buddhism is older than Christianity, and Buddhism has some things that Christianity kind of is derived from a little bit, but with some differences and things. Like Christians believe that the world made in what Earth was made in 7 days, and then or 6 days, and the seventh is rest. But then the Garden of Eden, like God made it perfect, made this world, this reality perfect, and then he beamed down two beings, Adam and Eve, a man and a woman, and they were both perfect as well, right? And then let's see what happens. So if you believe in simulation theory, then Christianity is simulation theory as well. Who is this higher entity? Is it an all powerful being? Is this God just for planet Earth, or is it for the other universes? And is there other universes? And is it the same God? Well, lots of people on the planet do not believe in God. They have other gods, right? They don't believe in heaven. They believe in a reincarnation, or they believe in a different heaven, or Muslims and their multiple virgins waiting for them in the afterlife. So if you make a sacrifice now, then you have all these virgins, and they just describe your paradise or whatever for the afterlife. And Buddhism is reincarnation, and then kind of derived from that is if you live a good life and you figure things out in this current life, then you can upgrade with your reincarnation. Or if you're bad and do bad things, you can downgrade to a lower form, and you have to start over. And it's just so for eternity, for infinity, you keep being reincarnated. But Christianity thinks you're here, and then the next world, heaven, is eternity, or hell is eternity. So two different perspectives. But if you bring in simulation theory with the Christianity and the creators, is God a computer programmer in a more advanced in the more advanced actual real world, and we are in a simulation? So he decided to, well, let's make this earth perfect with what the knowledge we know, and let's make two naked perfect people, a man and a woman, and insert them in there, and then see what happens. Like the Sims, but with a much more advanced computer program, and we're all just this is literally the Matrix, or it's a simulation. I don't know. And then after you die out of the simulation, is heaven? You go to the real world for eternity? Who knows, right? What do people call God? They call God the creator. What do people say the builder of the Matrix is in the movie? They call him the architect, right? The creator of that world. So the programmer, right? There's some crazy things, and we'll probably never know. But so there is people that believe that we live in a matrix, that this is all a simulation, that this is all just a video game, and it's hilarious, right? There's people that have never thought about that, and there's people that think, no, that's silly, this is actual reality. Or the people that don't believe in any god, the atheists, that no, this is all we have and there's nothing else after that. Well, I actually have a kind of a hard time believing that also. There is higher powers. There are fundamental things that man did not tell me, and it's hard to distinguish these things, but man-made laws are man-made laws, right? Natural law are things that are inherently right, like the commandments in the Bible, for instance. And I won't get too much into natural law. These are some rabbit holes I'm going down, and I'll talk about in the future. Natural law versus man law, and who your kind of slave masters are, who you have to answer to, and are you a free human and man on this planet or in the simulation, or do you have a slave master? And is there a way to break free, either partially or fully, to be free and released from the chains and things? But I'm going to leave that for another one. Let me know what you think. If we live in a matrix or a video game, or do we live in the real world and all that silly, or do you believe in heaven and hell are the eternities? Do you believe in the Christian God or another God? This whole simulation theory thing, does it even matter? Like, so what makes me, what makes Dean? Is it my body? Is it my just flesh? It's just, I'm just a meat suit, right? No, something else makes Dean. Something else, my brain works differently. Like I have a conscience or a soul or whatever you want to call it, but something else makes me. And what happens when when this meat suit is worn out and toast? Then what happens to Dean? And there's some spirituality rabbit holes that you can look into and go down yourself, and it's kind of separating unconscious and conscious, your own egos. You're part of something and part of something bigger, and I inherently know that, and know natural laws that nobody told me that man didn't create but are right. You do no harm, you do not steal, things like that. So does it matter? Whatever the answer is, does it matter that this is could be a simulation? Does it matter that it could be real life? You still have to operate in it, and this is your life. Don't waste it. Don't think I don't have to work because I'm going to get raptured up into heaven to live for eternity on a different realm that I think I know is, or I know that I like believe is up there, but you know, is it? I don't know. I would say make the best of your time that you have, whether it's a video game or not a video game, or you're just a character in The Sims, or your real meat suit is being harvested by machines and you are just your semi consciousness is put in another meat suit in this fake video game matrix simulation. Doesn't matter. You still have to like do your best, live your best life, have a family, work hard, make sacrifices, save for the future to make whatever this is your best, right? And either way, you come out better in the end, whatever the end is, and your time here is more well-rounded, and you have a better experience in whatever this is, working hard, making sacrifices, learning new skills, loving someone, finding a partner. So don't get stuck on, oh, it's just a video game, so I'm not going to bother with this, or oh, this is just I'm going to get raptured, so I'm not going to bother doing this, because if I just wait for eternity, so I don't have to bother with this or fighting for anything here or whatever. But now there's many smart people that believe that we actually live in a simulation or live in a video game. Just because so many things don't make sense, or some very smart people. I guess the most important one, I guess, would be the richest human on planet Earth, Elon Musk, believes we live in a simulation, and I tend to completely agree. So that Elon Musk is a tech guy, so he knows technology and where technology is headed in the future, and I inherently kind of know that as well. Artificial intelligence, video games, and if we can get so advanced that why aren't this entire world, this air that we breathe, this gravity that we're feeling, that we are characters in a computer program? But something gave us souls and consciousness as well. So whether the computer programming is so advanced that we're just all part of the computer, or this is real life, it doesn't it doesn't matter. You have to have a sense of self, a sense that there is a bigger picture, a bigger universe, and maybe we all are one, right? Some spiritualities say we are all one, which kind of almost also implies that it's a bit of a simulation theory. Yeah, many smart people, this is what they think, and we'll probably never know the answer, but it's nice to think about it anyways. But what's the most important thing to take from it is keep keep moving ahead, keep preparing, right? Don't just give in, or walk into a gas chamber, or don't bother storing food, or YOLOing your life away hoping for the best, that nothing bad will happen. You still have to be prepared, and the thought to survive and have children to keep the human race going and keep your bloodlines going. And you still have to work hard. You can't just play all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a simulation, a video game, or real life, and this is what we got. It doesn't matter if there is a god after, which god it is. If you're correct about that, incorrect about that, you still live your best life, right? You still thrive to live. You don't just give in and with the reassurance that you're going to go somewhere else after. And that is my take on it all. Now, dealing with NPCs is, I find, a little bit difficult, but kind of knowing simulation theory and spirituality and the frequencies and consciousness that other people operate on, that you can interact, a certain way, when you're dealing with NPCs, right? Whether it's Agent Smith, policy enforcer, or your standard NPC that you run into in public. Like if you were to sit down in just a standard city group of people, every single person and group in that city, they're all talking about the same thing. They're talking about that local sports ball team last night, or what do you think, or Donald Trump, Orange Man bad, or whatever hashtag Me Too. Did you see this celebrity did this? Did you see what Kim Kardashian is wearing? Real Housewives was on. Game of Thrones, right? Current events. So I think I mentioned in one of my really early podcasts is, if you to gray man with NPCs, okay, so whether it's a simulation or they're just not as conscious as you, like just on a lower frequency, they haven't been enlightened, and there's probably no way to enlighten them anymore. It's too much brainwashing and it's too late. But you have to gray man with them. So yeah, you can watch the highlight reel, or get all the main statistics if you have to operate with NPCs in the workplace, and you can gray man and try to fit in. Try to stay true to yourself, right? And still have your own tastes and preferences and ambitions, and keep those to yourself, or to your tight group of friends that are on a similar consciousness or higher consciousness, or that are actual other real human beings, not NPCs. So to kind of conclude and tie everything together, so I explained the Matrix, the movie, great movie, so many things in that movie, but it essentially separated. Okay, well, there's a Matrix, and then there's the real world, right? And when they come out of the Matrix, they're still able to plug themselves into the Matrix, to go into the Matrix, do whatever they're trying to do, and and come out. But what they're trying to do is like free the people from the Matrix, but most people don't want to be free because the real world sucks. But what my thought is that it's not a complete simulation that we live in, and it's not a complete real world. It's much more insidious than that. So I was born into this world as a like biological, spiritual, conscious human being, as a free, completely free person under God. Okay. When I was born, though, I was given a certificate, essentially, of ownership of, the here's another rabbit hole, but the government, and there is no government. It's a whole bunch of corporations, essentially, is, and I was given a social insurance number. So that social insurance number isn't me. Like I am me, and there's a bunch of legal things that rabbit holes and terminology and things that you can look into, and like I am kind of looking into. It's very, very complicated, but so I'm a free man in the real world, but essentially you're a free range slave. You were enslaved as a different entity, essentially with a birth certificate and social insurance number, and have to operate as a free range slave. And that kind of is the Matrix versus the real world. So me as a free man is me operating in the real world, and me operating with a social insurance number and birth certificate that the larger corporation of Canada essentially can borrow money against and enslave me. So it's kind of much more insidious. I'll leave that super complicated topic at that. But on the other hand, the Matrix is here. This is the food that's good for you, and it's all fake, right? We live in a world of fake food, and everyone tells you that this food's good for you, but it's probably not good for you. The news tells you something, and that's false news and misinformation and lies. The real information is usually the polar opposite. So it's fake news, fake food, fake healthcare, fake everything, fake education. It's the real world, but it's a matrix, and the herd, the rest of humans, believe that, but they're in the matrix and haven't broken free of the matrix to the real world to find out that they are a sovereign, completely free human. They'll go sing songs in the national anthem that they're free, but they're not. So it's very insidious. It's kind of like a real life simulation of lies, a real life matrix within this real world. And it's a spiritual battle also. You do have to take steps to free yourself from the matrix, right? One quote from the Matrix, Morpheus says, "Sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, that there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path." And I'll leave you with another final quote is Neo says to Morpheus, "What are you trying to tell me, Morpheus? That I can dodge bullets?" "No, Neo, I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to." Maybe that gave you some things to think about, and let me know your thoughts on the whole simulation theory. Do you think it's a complete video game? Do you think it's complete reality? Do you think that this is a temporary reality and heaven is the permanent infinity? Or do you think that this is all infinity and we're going to keep coming back and being reincarnated? Do you think we're the only species in the entire universe? And I mean, these are big topics that, it's fun to dive into and things. But again, keep on living your life, stay healthy, stay prepared, stay free, and we'll talk to you next time.